Dress as if you're gonna look interesting and then tomorrow look irrelevant at the reunion. Like me. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review part 1 of the reunion to the real desperate attempts to keep your diamond for next season of Beverly Hills. So we're finally at the first part of the reunion and we start off with Andy going around to everybody's trailer. Everybody's getting ready, everybody's getting glammed, everybody's getting dressed. He goes over to Kyle and he's like, Kyle, how do you feel about being on the show for 20 years? I mean, this is like your 25th or 50th reunion. I don't know, I lost count at this point. How do you feel about it? I mean, this is your only way of relevancy besides that Michael Myers movie, but I think I'm going to see that this Friday, right? I don't know, I think I might get Peacock because I think I have a free account, but how do you feel about it? How do you feel about you being here? And Kyle is like, well, I'm a little scared, honestly, Andy, because Erica, you know, I think she has seen all of these episodes and she has seen me talk trash and talk shit about her in my confessionals and question her lies that she kept feeding us. So I don't know, I'm pretty scared, Andy, but you're gonna be in the middle of us, right? Like, I'm gonna be sitting at the corner of the couch, you're gonna be here, and she's gonna be across from me, right? Like, just in case she does try to get up or something, you know, because I know she threatened Sutton, so I feel like she's capable of hitting me, Andy. So I just want you to know that, you know, you have my back just in case if she does get up. And then Andy goes over to Lisa's dancing on him and she's just like, oh, Andy, yes, can I get a raise? Are you gonna give me a raise after this reunion? I'm coming back for next season, right? And I'm like, Lisa, stop trying to kiss his ass. Like, stop it. You know, Andy, stop participating in this foolishness. He goes over to Garcelle. He's like, so Garcelle, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about this whole reunion? And Garcelle's like, well, honestly, I don't know. You know, Dorit and Lisa, I know that they're both going to come at me and I don't know what they're going to have to say, but I know that they're both heading in my direction. But you know what? I got them under control. And Andy's like, well, you know, even if you don't have them under control, I'm pretty sure that Twitter is going to light their asses up the night of the premiere of this episode anyway. So regardless, I think you'll be fine. And then he goes over to Sutton and Sutton is like, well, I'm a little scared, honestly, because Erica's not talking to me. And I don't know. I just thought that we had made up and I have given her $5 to buy something from McDonald's because I know she was, you know, a little bit off with her money. I don't know how much you pay her and I don't know if she could afford it, honestly. So I don't know. Either way, I'm ready, you know, and I have my phone with me just in case if I have to call the police. I have 911 on speed dial. All the women finally get on stage and the stage is presented in a very interesting way. I'm like, okay, what's the theme here? But the theme ends up being Kathy Hilton's backyard. I believe that's what Andy was going for. And he's just telling Kyle, once they all get situated, oh, so how do you feel that Kathy's gonna feel about the whole production of it? And I'm thinking, Kathy's gonna come out and she's gonna be like, this is nothing like my house. This is some poor, like, what is this? This is just cheap looking. My house is nothing like this. I want to sue. Andy, I'm suing you for this. Like, this is like, what is this? No, this is deteriorating my last name. I don't like it. You know, I feel like that's what she would say. She'll probably be like, no, the trees need to be higher. But before we go any deeper into the reunion, we'll start off with the reunion looks first. So we'll start off with Crystal. Crystal's look was all right. I mean, it's her first reunion. We can't really expect too much of it, but maybe for the next one, she'll give us something much more glamorous. But I did like the color of it. As for Dorit's next. Dorit's dress was actually really, really cute. And Andy asked her, oh, what is that? What are you wearing? And Dorit's like, oh, this dress right here, this is from my new line, Desperate by Dorit. Yes, I like this dress. It's really, really nice. I really did enjoy it. I love the cutout on the leg. Her hair was an interesting choice though. It was kind of that fuck me hair, that one night stand hair where, you know, you just had a one night stand and then you wake up the next morning and then, oh fuck, I need to fix my hair and I need to go. My Uber's outside. Let me just do something with my hair really quickly. Okay, let me go do the walk of shame. That's the kind of vibe that I got from her hair. You know, maybe she should have went for something else. You know, go for your Cindy Lou Who ponytails or something, but the dress was cute. Then we move over to Lisa, and putting your feelings aside for Lisa, I actually liked her dress. I actually loved her look. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I think it was snake print too. I'm like, what does that say about you, Lisa? But regardless, I did like it. Maybe because purple is one of my favorite colors. Maybe that's why. But I did love the whole look. And I think it was a dress with like snakeskin underneath the dress too. I wasn't sure because everything was just like combined so well. So I really liked it. Lisa actually looked good. I don't know about her ponytail. Her ponytail was all right. Then we head over to Erica. Erica, she looks like she was about to go film the reboot to the movie Prom Night. I'm not sure what she was going for. I mean, it was okay, I guess, but meh, you know, I seen better from her, especially from all the looks that she has given us this season. I know that she can be a bad bitch, but then again, she can't be a bad bitch on a budget. And something is up with her face. I mean, you know, it's very unfortunate because, again, we're used to seeing Erica look like a bad bitch 24/7 or maybe 22/7, or maybe now it's probably like 15/7. But, you know, we're used to that. We're used to glamour from Erica. So her face looks very interesting. It's like she's becoming like it's like she's morphing back into her old face prior to the surgeries or whatever she got done to her face. So that was interesting. As for Kyle, we head over to Kyle. Kyle's dress, I don't know what this was. I mean, it looked like she put something on and she looked in the mirror and she was just like, this isn't sexy. Let me flip my dress around because the back of it has an opening. Oh, now it's exposing my boobs. Yeah, this is my look. I'm going for this. This is sexy. I'm like, Kyle, no, this is not cute. And that hair, she brought the same hairstyle that she wore last week at Crystal's event back again. The whole early 90s, early 2000s look that she had going on. I'm like, Kyle, I think Kyle, yeah, I think she looked the worst out of everybody at this reunion, which says a lot because everybody's look was just meh. And then we head over to Garcelle. Garcelle looks pretty. I love the lipstick that she chose for her lips. I like that look, but her look was okay as well. Again, seeing all the other women wear really, really nicer outfits throughout the season and then showing up to the reunion dressed like this, I'm like, I don't know about everybody. Her shoes were really nice though. I did love her shoes. And then we finally head over to Sutton. Sutton, she looks like a folded up blue napkin. Her shoes were nice, but again, I don't know what she was going for, but she did look pretty. She looked all right, you know, I liked it, I guess. And I don't know, I feel like they should have went for a theme, you know, they should have had like one specific color so everybody can match or have shades of certain colors, you know, maybe like a baby blue or green or pink or something, you know, everybody wear the same color. I feel like that's what we should do for every single reunion for all the cities. Like just pick one color, one style, and let's go with that. Also, as for Kathy, she looks like a much more expensive version of Annabelle the doll, so I wasn't a fan of her look either. I'm like, oh, okay, I mean, that's just her style, and that's that, you know? And as for the reunion reviewer, me, I look beautiful. So we finally start off this reunion and everybody's sitting on the couch. Everybody is packed into those small ass couches. I mean, everybody is squished like this. You could feel the COVID rubbing between shoulders. Everybody's just sitting that damn close. I'm like, damn, we didn't have no budget for bigger couches. Let's go back to the individual couches because they were literally just like this on the couch, like, hey, Andy, how are you? Oh, no, it's fine. I can't move. So I'm going to stare at you like this because they were that close. They were like a pack of sardines. I'm like, damn, like no budget. Like get a bigger IKEA couch or get one from Walmart. Get one from Target or go through a thrift shop or something. You know, go to the one that Kathy and Sutton went earlier in the season. Maybe there's a big ass couch that everybody could use there. But I mean, I guess if that's what we're going for, maybe Andy just wanted them as close as possible. So maybe it could cause some friction between them and cause a lot of tension. And maybe, you know, sparks will fly. Maybe that's what he was going for. I see what you're trying to do, Andy. So regardless, Andy starts off the reunion by introducing everybody. He's like, okay, how's everybody? Okay, Crystal, how do you feel finally being relevant? And Crystal's like, oh, I'm happy, you know, finally people know who I am, you know, because apparently nobody knew who I was before the show. And I just feel some type of way. I feel offended, honestly. Like, I can't believe you. How did you not know who I was? And I'm like, okay, Crystal, we don't know who you are. And Crystal's like, okay, well, fine. Like, I'll accept that, but at least now everybody knows who I am. He's going around to Lisa, Garcelle, you know, he's making his round. And then he gets to Erica and he's like, Erica, how are you? And she does not reply. She was just like, hey, yeah, I'm here. And then Andy's like, oh, so I'm actually, you know, I'm surprised. Are you okay? Are you fine? I mean, did you sleep well? Did you sleep all right? I mean, I think I put some cookies and milk out in front of your hotel room. Did that help you sleep any better? Like, tell me what happened last night. Like, did you have anything going on? Did you have any nightmares? Like, what is it? And then Erica's just like, well, what? Did you think that I wasn't going to show up? No, I slept fine. Was I not supposed to? No, I slept good. I mean, I was practicing my script last night and practicing on how to lie to you and in front of all these other women in front of the camera. So I prepared myself. You know, I talked to my lawyers. My lawyers, they printed out 20 different scripts for me just in case if you tried to come at me with certain questions. So I'm ready. So then Andy asked Erica, so how do you feel that we're finally about to talk about all these accusations, you know, everything that's been going on in your case with Tom? How do you feel about it? And Erica's just like, well, honestly, I'm gonna answer to the best of my ability. I mean, I can't really talk about certain things, and I just want you to know that I can... Wait. Hold on. My spidey senses are telling me that Tom, I think his car just did a flip just now. Wait. I think he just did 2 flips right now. Tom just did another flip right now. I'm so sorry, Andy. I get the vibe that something happened. But regardless, I'm just asking for sympathy from all the other ladies and for them to believe my lies, because that's what I'm about to do now, maybe depending on where this reunion goes and what questions you ask me. But I can only answer to the best of my ability. And okay, I'll give her that, because again, like, she can't put everything on blast in front of the TV, regardless whether the audience at Andy or everybody on the cast wants her to, you know? So I get it, because it has to do with the law. It has to do with the lawyers. I get that. I completely get it. So there'll be a limit of what Erica can say. But again, it doesn't make her case any better that she has been bullshitting and lying this entire season and nothing has been adding up. So with that, you know, again, if you want to stay on the show, just be quiet. And then Andy, Andy just started right away. He's like, so, okay, so how do you feel about everybody assuming that you're cold, you know, you're cold and you have no money and that this is your only job? And I'm like, damn, Andy. I'm like, ouch. If I was Erica, I would have started crying right then and there. My feelings were hurt. And I wasn't even Erica. I'm like, damn, my only job? Like, I have something. I have the Rihanna thing. Well, before she took it away from me. But, you know, I had that. I had other promotions on Instagram. This is not my only job, Andy. You know, like, so disrespectful. But regardless, Erica tries to answer. And her answer, she was going good until she said the word alleged. I'm like, here we go again. So she was just like, you know, Andy, a lot of people think that I'm cold and that I have no heart and that I'm just really cold-hearted. You know, they think that my nickname is Antarctica. You know, sometimes people call me the snow because I'm so cold and everything. You know, I don't know. Maybe just call me Frosty or something. But regardless, I don't know. I'm not cold because I want the alleged victims of alleged Tom's actions to get alleged justice. You know, allege. You know, I just want them to allegedly feel better, because allegedly I'm not cold, and I want everybody to allegedly to stop feeling like that about me, because it's not my fault. You know, I just got caught up in this alleged scam of alleged Tom and this alleged marriage, you know, and that's basically allegedly it. Like, I can't really say much about it, Andy. And I'm like, damn, Erica, say allegedly one more time and Candyman is gonna pop up. Like, Erica, I mean, she was just like, yeah, I want the alleged victims to get justice. I'm like, okay, so now they're alleged. Whatever, like we could see whatever we want on the news, but at the end of the day, it's still alleged in Erica's world. And you know, I get it again, because it's a whole ongoing case. She can only say so much. So if it's gonna be alleged, then it is what it is. So then Andy switches directions and he goes over to Sutton, and they talk about her experience on this season, how at the beginning of the season, she was a hot ass mess. She needed that roller for her face every 5 seconds. She was a full-time Karen. You know, just like I said, she was a complete hot ass mess at the beginning of the season. You know, people didn't warm up to her until like maybe halfway through the season, when the whole Erica situation started, you know, being exposed. That's when people were like, okay, maybe we could be on Team Sutton. But again, I'll always side-eye her for those first couple of episodes, because Crystal was not in the wrong for what was going on at the beginning. But regardless, Crystal says, you know, me and Sutton, surprisingly, we have much more in common than what we see. And I'm like, and what is that? Like, what exactly do both of you have in common? I mean, I guess they're both very emotional, and they both will really stand in their position really strongly. I mean, if one believes in one thing, they will believe in it 100%, and neither one of them cracked in their situation, in their little feud at the beginning of the season. You know, if one said one thing, the other said the other, and they will just not come to agreeing with anything. So I guess I could see it that way. You know, I wonder if Crystal really does forgive Sutton for that situation, or if deep down inside she truly just doesn't like her and she's just playing nice, or she's just waiting for Sutton to say some stupid shit so that way they could go back and forth again. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it. And then they talk about Sutton's store and how Sutton points at Lisa because Lisa was throwing shade at her store. That I believe Sutton's store is in Beverly Hills, right? She has her store in Beverly Hills, if I'm not mistaken. That's the location. But regardless, Lisa threw shade at Watch What Happens Live. She was like, oh, you know, does Sutton have a business? I mean, yeah, she has a store. Is that considered a business? And I'm like, what stupid question is that, Lisa? Yes, it's considered a business. It's a store, right? Like, didn't you have a store that shut down too? And isn't that considered a business? A failed one at that? At least Sutton's store is still up and running. I mean, whether people are shopping there or not, that's questionable, but that's her decision. You know, we could say the same thing about your lip kit situation or whatever you're selling, lipsticks or chapsticks, whatever. Is that considered a business just because you're selling something for your lips? Like, we could ask the same dumb questions to you, you know, so whatever. So then we get over to the conversation of Sutton finally moving out of Kyle's house. I'm like, finally, because Kyle is that type of friend that she will not let you forget that she did you a favor and that you shouldn't ask for anything. I mean, you could ask for $1 and she'll be like, remember back in 2005, I gave you $1. Remember that? You needed me. Remember, you came begging for me for $1. She's the type of person that would do that, that just would not shut up. You know, just, oh, you were at my house. You were at my house. You were at my house. Remember, you were paying me rent. You were paying me rent. Like, she was probably at Sutton's door every 5 seconds, like, can you keep it down? I know you're the only person in the house, but anyway, can you keep it down? Like, I'm the owner of this house. I feel like that's what Kyle gives off as a homeowner or a home renter or whatever she was, you know, because she also mentioned that Sutton burned part of the house of the little fireplace, the fire pit that was located in Sutton's house, well, Kyle's house. And Sutton is just like, yeah, I think Erica has snuck into my house that one night. And I think she tried to burn a couple documents to, you know, discredit anything in the laws, allegedly. And that's why the fire went up in flames, because there were so many documents that Erica was trying to hide and lie. And I caught her in the act and I was just like, what are you doing, Erica? Why are you burning my house? And oh, now there's a fire mark above the fire pit. So that's why, Kyle, that's why that's there. Sutton also reveals to us that her and her boyfriend have broken up and he broke up with her on Valentine's Day, and that's unfortunate. And Sutton, he probably had a whole other person on the side. I mean, if he broke up with you on Valentine's Day, it's probably because he couldn't afford 2 gifts. So, you know, whatever. It's better that you let that man go anyway, or he let you go, you know, save your losses. And then we get to Dorit and Garcelle, and Andy's talking to Garcelle, and he's like, so how does it feel that all the other women, you know, they kind of forced you to cry, to have a moment, because for some reason, that's the only way that they can actually experience any type of emotion or anything from you. You know, that's the way they say it in their stupid eyes. And then Garcelle's like, yeah, it was very, you know, it was very unfortunate. And I was trying to give the best of me to them, and I was trying to be honest. And then here comes Dorit, putting her foot in her mouth, what, for the 70th time this season already. I think that this is like her 85th time, I think, and counting, that she put her foot in her mouth, because she starts talking to Andy and she's like, hi, Andy. Hello. Hi. Hi, Andy. Yes. Okay. So is everybody, is all the cameras on me? This is the only moment I'm going to get off the season, right? Okay. Okay. So I came ready. Honestly, Garcelle, I just feel that you were honestly passively provocative. You know, I just, yeah, you like that word, right, Krista? I looked it up in the dictionary last night and I thought I would say it so I could sound fancy and cool and edgy. So yeah, I'm going to continue saying it a couple more times. So keep track, you know, like I'm about to say it. So but yes, Garcelle, I just feel that, you know, you were being passively provocative, and every time you kept taking a dig at me in your confessional. And even though I did the same thing with Erica and I always talk shit in my confessional, I just think that it's wrong for you to do it. It's okay for me to do it, but it's not okay for you to do it. And you were taking a jab at me, and I just feel like you were, again, being passively provocative because you were trying to be relevant. You were looking for a moment and you just wanted attention. And I'm like, what? Dorit, like, just like Garcelle said, what? She doesn't need to do anything to be relevant or anything for attention or anything for anything. Like, what? Like, Dorit is delusional. What show was she watching? Because I personally knew of Garcelle before the show. Dorit, you've been on this show for how many years? And I still barely know you. Nor do I want to get to know you, nor do I want to continue getting to know you. You need to, again, eggs the stage right or eggs the stage left or whatever, because the nerve of you to say that about Garcelle. I mean, have you not watched the show? I'm assuming she went into the reunion blind and she didn't watch anything this season and noticed how she looked or what people said to her on Twitter. I mean, I just cannot believe that she chose those words for Garcelle. I mean, whoo. And you know, it's just delusional, you know, delusional by Dorit. That should be your next clothing line. You know, first is desperate by Dorit. The next one should be delusional by Dorit. And I'm glad that Garcelle responded to Dorit the way she did by saying, oh, I don't need anything to be relevant. I don't need to do anything to be relevant. You know, just look at my resume. You know, if we compare Dorit and Garcelle, again, Dorit, who are you without the Louis Vuitton? Let's take away the Louis Vuitton clothing, all the expensive luxury items that you have. Who are you again? And even with that, who are you again? like, stop, Dorit. This is not the fight you want with Garcelle. I don't understand why she went into this season, like, trying to fight with her, with Garcelle, and trying to make a moment out of her. When, imagine all the support and all the fans that you possibly could have had. You know, you could have rebranded your whole image if you would have went after the right person. You know, all that shit that you and Kyle were talking about in the confessional, if you would have actually said all of that to Erica's face, I'm pretty sure people would have supported you this season. But instead, you chose to go after Garcelle, somebody that you know that is kind of like a fan favorite on this season, and you still chose to go that route, and you still decided to come to this reunion. And I'm pretty sure you went on Twitter and online, and you seen what people have said about you, comparing you to all the other women, or, you know, seeing how people favor Garcelle over you, and you still decided to come to this reunion and still pick a fight with Garcelle? Like, what is just not, what's not clicking in your head? And then, you know, as they continue talking, Lisa, she's just there, you know, she's smiling. Erica, she's jumping into random, she's just throwing out these little comments. And I'm like, Erica, if I was you, I would want the least bit of attention on this reunion. So if I was you, just stay quiet, because the heat is going to come your way and it's going in your direction pretty soon. So if I was you, I would just pretend to be a ghost and not say nothing and just have a poker face the entire time, because the more you insert yourself into these little conversations or throw jabs at you, it's going to come right back at you soon. Lisa jumps in by throwing one of her shady comments, and she's like, that's nice. That's nice, you know, as Dorit and Garcelle are going back and forth with each other. And Garcelle is like, Lisa, stop. We're going to get to it. Me and your situation, we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about it. Just relax, you know, just calm down. And Lisa, all of a sudden, she got the nerves, and she's like, oh, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to behave. I can say whatever I want. And then Erica, again, putting the attention on her. She's like, well, I can say whatever I want too. And Lisa's like, we all can. We can all say whatever we want. And I'm like, damn, Lisa, like, what's wrong? Why are you so angry? You know, if I was Garcelle, that would have been my reply. I would have been like, oh, you're so angry, Lisa. What's going on? Your lip kit is not selling or something? Like, what's going on here? You know, like, Lisa, just, I don't know. I just did not like her tone, her vibe, her anything. Because if I was Garcelle, that purple snake would have been dragged all across the entire stage. I mean, Garcelle was just trying to keep it together. And you could tell that she was probably pissed, but she can't really react much. And I'm like, you're just letting Lisa talk to you like this? Absolutely not. And then Andy asked Crystal, how do you feel about the whole situation? You know, and Crystal's like, well, I mean, going back to the whole, you know, dinner thing and situation with Garcelle and her confessional saying, oh, you know, I don't know who Crystal was. You know, I don't know who she is. And none of us knew. Again, just like I said, we knew Simba before we knew Crystal. We knew Rafiki before we knew Crystal. We knew Nala before we knew Crystal. We knew the whole entire cast of The Lion King and the sequel before we knew of Crystal. So, Crystal, I don't know why you were offended, because honestly, she didn't mean it in a bad way. She even said it with a straight face, like, none of us knew who you were, so I don't know why are you taking it so personal. And, you know, to a certain extent, I can see everybody else's perspective of Garcelle being somebody who just talks a good game in her confessionals, because that's something that I also didn't like of her this season, that, you know, you stick up for Sutton or you stick up for certain things in your confessional. Yeah, she has her moments where she says things to the person face to face, but for the most part, sometimes she's just been somebody in the confessional where she just says, oh, you know, I don't like this or I don't like that, or she throws shade in the confessionals, but in person, she's just mute and she's quiet and she doesn't say nothing, or she's just running away from it. I can see that only if the other women also didn't do it. If Garcelle was the only one to do that, then okay, I get the issue. But no, Kyle and Dorit have done it the entire season, much worse than Garcelle. I mean, both of you have been questioning Erica's entire situation the whole season, and you don't say it to Erica's face. You know, nothing of that was brought up, right? Like, Dorit, you don't take any accountability of that situation, right? Like, you don't say, you know what, Garcelle? You were saying little jabs at me in the confessional, but so was I about Erica. So, okay, I'll take that. You know, nobody said anything, or you didn't say anything to Kyle for you and her talking with your husbands and making fun of Erica's situation then at the dinner table, right? You didn't say anything then, so how come you're only pointing your finger at Garcelle? And as Dorit's trying to talk about the whole situation, she keeps elaborating. Garcelle tries to, you know, reply, and she tries to jump in, and then Dorit loses her damn mind and she's like, Garcelle, I'm trying to talk right now. Let me talk before I buy another Louis Vuitton bag out of anger. Stop. And I'm like, what? Like, Dorit, who are you yelling at? No. I know, Garcelle. I know, Garcelle, you are trying to be a very, very classy woman, but all that class would have been like thrown right out the window because absolutely not. There is just no way. If I was in Garcelle's shoes, I'm going to allow you to yell at me like that on this public stage? Absolutely not. It would have turned from the Real Housewives to Bad Girls Club Beverly Hills edition because I would I would have been like, okay, she just yelled at me. Let me process it. Let me take it in and let me breathe before I jump across the table. And then I would have leaped across the table. I would have leaped and just... Absolutely not. I would not have taken any of Lisa, let alone Dorit's bullshit that she was throwing in my direction. Like, who are you yelling at? Like, it was just awful. You know, it was in poor taste, especially, you know, from what everybody was just saying that, you know, Dorit, you never had this type of energy towards anybody on the cast or in previous seasons. You know, it's never escalated you to get like this. But now all of a sudden you're like that with Garcelle. And then you wonder why some of the shit that comes out of your mouth is questionable because look at your behavior here. Just... And Garcelle, it was a bit disappointing to just see her be quiet. You know, I get it because she doesn't want to portray, you know, a stereotypical, you know, angry black woman. But at the same time, Garcelle, you just cannot let them just walk all over you like this because then they're going to assume, oh, well, you know, she doesn't want to be portrayed like this. So that's going to work in our favor. So we can say whatever we want to her. It's going to hurt you in the end. You know, I don't like that. On Watch What Happens Live, she said after the show, she said, you know, Dorit, if she ever yells at me like that again, it will never happen again. I will never allow it. You know, the first time, okay, but the second time, it won't happen. I'm like, you shouldn't allow it the first time either because then Dorit, now she's going to think that she's super bitch all of a sudden and that she could take you down knowing that it's not possible. And the other crazy part is that Crystal, she also jumped ships again, and she was trying to defend Dorit and Erica and everybody else at this reunion when she was trying to put you, Garcelle, on blast. But at the same time, Sutton, she's your friend, and she didn't say anything. I'm not saying, you know, oh, let's do a tag team or let's jump somebody or whatever, but Sutton didn't say anything at all to try to defend you. So that was also disappointing. Then again, she could barely defend herself sometimes too because she's always running away from everything. But at the same time, if you're a real friend, I'm surprised that you didn't say anything, Sutton. You should have stuck up for your friend. You see that Lisa and Dorit and partly Crystal is coming at your friend Garcelle, who's right next to you, and you're just allowing it? I mean, I don't know. Dorit, this is just what? Example 168 now that you need to get off the show? Like, she needs to go. Like, Dorit needs to go tonight. Also, that passively provocative shit that Dorit kept repeating over and over and over. First of all, what the hell does that mean? Like, what the hell does that mean? That sounds like some type of Pokemon, like, provocative, passively provocative. I choose you. You know, like, what does that mean, Dorit? I feel like Dorit just kept using these fancy words just to use it, just to seem like, oh, you know, I have a long list of vocabulary in my speech. You know, I'm so fancy with my words because she kept using this other word, incessive. I'm like, Dorit, if you don't use ABC 1, 2, 3 words and just call it a day. You know, I feel like this was also another cover-up. This whole passively provocative bullshit was also another cover-up because I know that Dorit, what she really wanted to call Garcelle was aggressive. But she knew that if she used that word against Garcelle, the whole internet would just completely, like, you know, light her up online. So I know what she was doing by using these specific words. Dorit, you're not slick. And then the conversation about race gets brought up, and Garcelle tells Lisa and Andy and everybody else, she says, oh yeah, somebody told me that you didn't want me bringing up the topic of race onto this season. And I'm thinking, I don't know. Part of me feels like the person who told Garcelle that was Kyle herself. Like Mrs. Michael Myers. Yes, I feel like Kyle was the one that told Garcelle, oh, by the way, I just want you to know that Lisa doesn't want you talking about race this season. It kind of bothers her. I feel like Kyle was the one to do that. And I can tell because she was quiet the whole reunion, but as soon as the conversation got brought up about race, Kyle was just like, you know, that's another issue with her. She tries so hard to be a GIF or a GIF or whatever you want to call it. She tries to be a GIF so bad by her face expressions. Every 5 seconds, it's always, What? Like every 5 seconds, like, okay, we get it, Kyle, you're shocked. Like, give us something else. You're giving us nothing. So I feel like Kyle was the one behind that whole situation. And Lisa, that's another thing she can't handle. She's like, what? You will not say that I'm that type of person. No, absolutely not. No, I cannot believe you. How dare you, Garcelle? No. I want an apology. I want you to apologize to me about that statement. How dare you think I'm that type of person? And I'm thinking, so Lisa, you, as a white woman, you want a black woman to apologize to you, being a white woman, about her feeling some type of way that you might have said this comment that nobody really truly knows that you said it. I mean, there's a 50-50 chance that you could have said it. So you want her to apologize to you for bringing that up, about you possibly saying that you didn't want Garcelle bringing race into this season. So where's the logic there? I mean, please let me understand. I'm trying to see what your point is. Like you see, you have me stumbling over here because I'm like, I know Lisa is not doing this right now. But then again, yes, she is, because she is capable of doing anything. Garcelle basically said that her standards for Lisa are just very, very high and she expects much more from her. And I'm like, but why? Like, again, I know that it must be very heartbreaking for Garcelle to see this friendship that she had with somebody for so long prior to the show, you know, become something so toxic. But again, Garcelle, that's just the name of the game. You know, that's just the way of reality TV. And some people will, you know, act a complete fool and a complete ass in front of a camera for a chance to continue some type of storyline or to continue being on the show over and over, season after season. And that's just what Lisa's game is. You know, it's unfortunate, but sometimes that's what it is. And you should have known that from what she did with her friendship with Denise. Look how long they were friends, and right underneath the bus she went. So when she got up to try to apologize and try to flip this whole situation on Garcelle, like, oh, okay, like, are you gonna apologize? Are you gonna apologize? And Garcelle's like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do to fix the situation? And I'm like, ugh, Garcelle, come on. Like, you were standing your ground for a second, and now you're buying into Lisa's BS once more. And Dorit again saying, oh, this time, are you really gonna mean it? Are you really gonna mean it this time, Garcelle? I'm like, Dorit, shh, you too. Like, like, stay quiet. And then Lisa's getting up. She's like, life is too short. Life is way too short. Let's just hug this out. Let's just hug this out. You know, I really love you, Garcelle. I love you, and I know you love me. And I'm like, here she goes being manipulative again, you know, with her snake outfit. You know, I know what she was doing. She tries to, you know, cause all this destruction and all these flames and all this fire between her and somebody. And then next thing you know, she tries to get soft, and she's like, you know, I really want to be friends. No, I really, like, I think we should watch an episode of Barney after this. You know, I really want to be besties with you. You know, I think I'm going to make a MySpace account, and I think I'm going to put you as my #1 friend. What do you say? You know, that's Lisa's game. That's her whole thing. Season after season, she tries to become friends with somebody, and then she repeats the same pattern with the same person or a new victim the following season or in the same season. So she gets up, and then if I was Garcelle, I would have been like, okay, so she's getting up, she's coming over here. Okay, Sutton, get ready, take your shoes off. Okay, oh yeah, Lisa, I forgive you, I forget. And then boom, grab her in the chokehold with the ponytail. Sutton, get a couple shots in. Like, that's what I would have done if I was Garcelle. But no, Garcelle lets her sit next to her, and she's like, you know, let's rekindle our friendship. You know, let's start all over again. And Garcelle she was just like, you got it. And I'm like, okay, I mean, let's just hope that in the future, she doesn't throw you underneath the bus, or she tries to play you, or she tries to backstab you like she did Denise, or how she was trying to do this season. Because Garcelle, I mean, she gave you all the red flags in the world, and you chose to ignore it. So whatever comes your way, you allowed it. You know, you honestly allowed it. You allowed yourself to be played by her and possibly Dorit if you continue these toxic friendships with them. I mean, yeah, you could be on the show with them, you know, yeah, you could film with them, but just be cordial and just look at Lisa and Dorit as co-workers. That's what you need to do at this point moving forward. Just look at them as co-workers and people you bicker with and go back and forth, and that's that. You know, I know it's hard because, again, you were friends with these people, well, with Lisa for a long time, but at the end of the day, the friendship didn't mean anything to Lisa if she's so quick to turn on you, you know, and stick up for Erica, who kept running her mouth through this little segment. And then Dorit, I don't know if anybody caught it. I think Erica tried to say something to Dorit, and Dorit was like, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm like, damn, Dorit, you know, that was her only cool point that she got. She's like, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm still mad at you. So we'll see what that's about. That was that with the whole situation with Garcelle and Lisa. I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that their friendship is going to last or is going to be any better than what it was here? I mean, I don't know. I honestly feel like if everybody comes back next season, or if Lisa and Garcelle specifically come back next season, the minute that Garcelle does not say hi to Harry, next thing you know, Lisa's going to be like, oh, well, she didn't say good morning or hi to Harry that Tuesday morning, so I'm not speaking to her. Nope, I'm not doing it. I feel like that's the type of petty that Lisa's gonna do. But I mean, I guess if Garcelle is willing to give it another shot, then I guess I'll put on my clown mascara, my clown wig, my floppy shoes, my clown outfit, and I'll also be on board with Garcelle, and I'll be like, you know what, okay, fine, I guess we can give it another shot and see where it goes. Honestly, bring in somebody from Harry's past. Bring in an ex-girlfriend, a mistress, somebody from his past that can shake up Lisa a little bit, because she cannot continue going season after season after season, going on the hunt and going on the attack on somebody else, and her just kind of skating by with nobody really touching her. You know, like, I'm pretty sure if you do enough digging, you can find the right women to bring in onto the show to hold a diamond. Get rid of Dorit, bring in somebody from Harry's past, and that way Lisa could be shook up a little bit. And who knows, I wonder if that was to happen, would Lisa actually come back? You know, very questionable. But if they really wanted to start something, they would be smart and get somebody from Harry's past. So then Kathy finally comes out, and Andy was like a little kid in a candy store. He was so excited to tell Kathy the big news. Okay, now's my moment. Okay, Kathy, so what do you think about the whole stage? I mean, do you know where we are? Look around. Do you know where we are? And Kathy's just like, are we behind a dumpster or what? I don't know. What is this supposed to look like? Oh, wait, it's supposed to resemble my house. Oh, yes, it's nice. Oh, wow, yeah. It looks exactly like it. Yeah, it looks cute. Kathy was just looking at it like, this is not my fucking house. Like, how disrespectful. And then we got a nice little promotion that Jamie Lee Curtis probably paid for, and they started talking about the Halloween movie that Kyle's in. And it's still crazy to me how she was the little girl that was in the Halloween movie, the very first one back, I don't know how long ago. You know, the little girl, I remember watching it, and I never put two and two together until, I think it was actually recently or last year that I found out that was actually Kyle, the little girl that played in Halloween. And she's like, yeah, you know, I broke my nose on the set of the movie and I got a nose job. You know, I think Michael Myers in this scene, he threw a pumpkin at my face. So I decided, why not? Just let me fix my nose a little bit better. You know, why not? And are y'all going to watch the movie, by the way? I'm excited to watch it. I mean, have y'all watched the Scream trailer? I'm also excited about that, but that's a whole different conversation. And then we move over to Erica, and Andy is basically listing all the trash behavior that Tom has done in this marriage with Erica, how he hasn't basically been there at all to support her in anything. And Erica's excuse is, well, we as women, we sometimes got to do that. You know, sometimes we have to do that as women. And I'm like, what kind of women have you been around? I mean, this is another thing, everybody, that I mentioned, I think, earlier in my reviews. It's just that, you know, if you're ever in a situation that you're with somebody and they're supporting you financially and there's no money coming into you from your own perspective and you're dependent on somebody else, that could be a slippery slope, because they could leave you or cheat on you or whatever, or disrespect you, and you're gonna feel like, oh, I need to stay with this person because they're the one with the money. If I leave, I'm gonna go broke, I'm gonna have nothing, and I'm gonna have zero in my bank account if I leave this person. And it's just like, it's very unfortunate, because look what's happening to Erica, because she had nothing to really rely on herself. I mean, I guess besides the show, now she barely has any money. Well, in her world, she barely has any money, because she was so accustomed to always living off Tom and kind of taking the disrespect from him, and because it had money attached to it. You know, at some point, you're gonna have to look at yourself and be like, you know what? How much is disrespect really worth in my life? You know, like, is he just going to continue stepping all over me, or, you know, whatever, just because he has money? And that's just not for Erica. That's just for anybody in general. You know, I just feel like everybody has to be their own independent person, even in a relationship. But maybe that's just me. And then Andy also questions Erica about Tom's alleged affairs. And she's like, so how do you feel about that? Like, what did you say to him? And Erica's like, well, I basically told Tom that if he wanted to go on Tinder, that he could swipe right as many times as he can, but he needed to divorce me. He needed to, you know, let me know if he wanted to leave me. And then Andy's like, so what did he say? Like, what exactly was Tom's response? And Erica's like, well, he basically said nothing. I mean, he stayed quiet. He didn't really say anything at all. I mean, he said that he went on a couple Tinder dates here and there, but nothing really. He actually advised me to make a Bumble or a Tinder or an OkCupid or something like that. But other than that, it was nothing, Andy. So then Andy asked the last question of the first part of the reunion. And he's like, so we know about Tom possibly having these alleged affairs, but were you faithful? Were you faithful in your marriage with Tom? And then that's when everything ended. And I'm like, ooh, was Erica, you know, faithful? I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think she was actually 100% faithful, or maybe 99, 98, 69, wink, wink? You know, I don't know. It was a very interesting question. And that's how we ended the reunion. And that was that, y'all. That was the first part of the 4-part reunion that we're going to get. I mean, I thought it was a good opening. I thought it kind of set the stage of what we're going to get later on. I mean, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg from what we're going to get next week, and so on and so on. I mean, again, what did y'all think? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'll see y'all at the reunion part 2. Bye, y'all. Mwah.